Welcome in, chosen tribe. Ooh, got the Palo Santo burning tonight. If you are watching this after it is live, I do encourage you to join the conversation. Join me every Wednesday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Hi, Lavi. Welcome in. Happy to have you back. This thing is burning out of control right now, but it must be for a reason. So let's let it do its thing. All right. Sarah, welcome in. Welcome in. Happy to have you both here, my chosen tribe. How are we all feeling tonight? Be honest, as always. I myself have had a headache since yesterday, and it is like nothing is doing the trick. Normally, my peppermint oil does it, but I didn't want to cancel this live. So here I am. It's not going to be a very long live tonight. We're going to talk a bit about collective consciousness, Mandela effects. It's going to be more interactive. So I do encourage you to share your experiences in the chat, or if you're familiar with Mandela effects, please do share the one that really piqued your interest, the one that made you believe in collective consciousness. Feeling a little jittery? Welcome in, Sunny. Happy to have you here every week as my moderator. Greatly appreciative for your energy. I'm having a little bit of coffee. Normally I'm on tea and just water at night, but I have my bay leaf water here. A little bit of caffeine might do the trick. We'll see. I truly think someone brought up a good point that it was the air quality from the hurricane. Even though I'm in California, ways away, everything is interconnected, as we're going to be talking about tonight. The same way that we are all on this web connected with one another, so is the weather, the air, the water. Yes, Sarah, so you said your daughter had a headache last night and this morning. That's exactly when mine started last night and pretty much through the entirety of today. And it's not really letting up. But I did a lot of great meditation today, got a lot of work done. Happy to have you all here. So grateful for everyone. We're going to do, of course, a little bit of breath work, a little bit of sound. So please be patient. Please stick around for the conversation. And if not, and you want to watch it after it's live so you can fast forward through all of that, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button. Save this for later. Part of me wants to think that it is ascension symptoms, because I can't keep speaking of this rising of the collective consciousness and then not think that the physical 3D body wouldn't go through some sort of transformations. Now, as always, because of YouTube and any other platform I'm using, I have to say that I am not a medical professional. And this is for entertainment purposes only. So if you're dealing with any type of issue within your body, please contact your doctor. Don't substitute my advice and my intuition for medical advice. Front of your head. Maybe it's our third eyes activating. And this is all going to coincide with tonight's topic. I normally have a bunch of notes, but I really wanted tonight to give you all the floor so we could interact about this, because what's the point of talking about collective consciousness if I'm the only one yapping, right? Yes, a little peppermint oil, high quality therapeutic grade peppermint essential oil, and then dilute it with a carrier oil, like maybe a little bit of scent-free lotion or almond oil, jojoba oil, whatever your skin isn't sensitive to. And if you've never used essential oils, I do recommend you test a little bit on your skin just to see if you might react to it. Other than that, they're great to put also in your hands, on the soles of your feet. If you're into reflexology, meridian points, the feet and the hands don't have those sebaceous glands. So everything, is absorbed very quickly into the bloodstream within 20 minutes. So it's a great place I like to use clove oil and things like that if I'm starting to feel under the weather, like a cold flu. And that's why I have to give that preface about not being a medical professional, because I could talk all day about holistic health, especially as I told you all last week with my background as a birth and postpartum doula, pregnancy yoga teacher, and just I live the life I talk about. So anything I'm recommending to any of you, it's not because I'm selling it, it's because it works for me. And I, of course, want to share that with you all. Lavi says it's India. In India, it's morning. Yes, I believe last time you were in here, you said it's around 2 a.m., if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Seems like we're sitting right at about 6 people. So let's grab the singing bowl. We're going to, of course, do a bit of breath work first. I always forget to ask if you all can hear me, but clearly you can. So we're good to go on that front. And if anyone's familiar with the Mandela Effect, this topic that we have for tonight, leave it in the comment. Let me know that you do know what the Mandela Effect is. I'll give a brief breakdown. We'll even talk about some Mandela effects, but I really want the takeaway to be about our collective consciousness. So without further ado, let me pour this water into the singing bowl. But first, we're going to take our 3 rounds of breath. And tonight, we are going to be doing box breathing. So box breathing, we're going to do rounds of 4. So we're going to inhale in through our nose for 4 seconds, hold our breath at the top for 4 seconds, exhale it out slowly for 4 seconds, hold it again at the bottom for 4. So creating that box. And we're going to do that 3 times. So go ahead and just empty out your lungs. If you're in a safe space to do so, you might close your eyes. And let's go ahead and take, for a 4 count, an inhale deeply in through the nose, holding for 4, and exhaling for 4, holding for 4, and go ahead and repeat at your own pace with that 4-second interval. Last round. Beautiful. I think the hardest part of that box breathing is oftentimes it's a lot easier to exhale for longer than you inhaled. So trying to keep it to just 4 seconds can be a bit tricky. I'm going to play the singing bowl for about 60 seconds before we dive into tonight's topic of Mandela. Please don't be shy in the chat tonight. I encourage you all to share your experience. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. Please do turn down your volume in case this frequency comes through on your end quite loud. I'm going to remain seated tonight. And let us begin. Beautiful souls, thank you for being here with me this evening. I'm greatly appreciate for your energy, your currency. Let me know if you felt that frequency anywhere within your energetic body, your physical body, within one of your chakras. I'm going to move the bowl because I've had this for 4 years and I have yet to nick it on anything. I probably shouldn't have said that, but let it remain that way. All right. Okay, so let's read the chat because I know I asked you just before we did our breath work and sound if anyone knew what a Mandela effect was. If you're here in this chat tonight, if you're here in the live, it's probably because the title called to you. I know for me, I was introduced to the Mandela effects back in February of 2019. So it's been quite some time, about 5.5 years. I can't believe it's been that long. And new ones continue to unfold. I've watched some other great YouTubers who've brought up their own. Let's see. Sarah said, I've been noticing Mandelas at hyperspeed this past week. Yes, exactly. Your dog was looking at the TV with their ears tilting head up during the sound bowl. Aw, I love that. Animals and children are my favorite. I love y'all too, but animals and children, they're such great judges of character and of energy. They don't have any bias or, judgment, unconscious bias. So that's awesome. In your head and in your heart. I'm almost noticing that my head is feeling a bit lighter, not in a bad way, but a little less pressure than when I first started this live. So definitely happy. My rabbit, she's around here, probably right underneath me right now. She does love the singing bowl. I think right now she's plopped down right next to me like a little pup. Maybe she'll make an appearance. I showed her on one live and I keep saying it like maybe I'll show her again. She's a lion's head. So she grows this crazy mane. And even though I just groomed her because I cut her nails, I trim her hair all myself, I bathe her bottom. Most rabbits, you don't bathe them, but because she's so hairy, I have to just give her a bottom bath like once every 6 to 8 weeks. But as soon as I cut her hair within 10 days, she's right back to looking like a lion. So funny. Animal lovers in the chat, let me know. So, Mandela effect. We'll talk about one. I think one of the ones that stuck out to me in 2019 that I just will never get over is the Berenstein Bears. It was spelled growing up Berenstein, 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 not Berenstain, Stain, which they're now claiming. And I remember this so vividly because I learned to read at a very young age. I was a bookworm and I had the collection of the Berenstein Bear books. It was never Stain, it was Steen with an E. So absolutely crazy. If you know about that one, let me know. Thank you, Sarah. We're all biased with our pet babies. Like, she's so cute. People are probably like, yeah, sure she is. Sebastian said your dogs were barking also, and they stopped when oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing, everyone. Happy to have you all in the chat tonight. So, with this Mandela effect, the reason we're talking about this tonight, of course, we can go back and forth and share because I truly believe we are shifting timelines, which is why the title is Chosen, You Create Your Reality. Because the download for me last week was timeline shifts aren't happening to us, but we're creating them. I'm going to say that one more time. Timeline shifts and Mandela effects are not happening to us. We're creating them, us chosen ones, us awakened ones, us who are ascending and are seeing through the veil. And now, the reason I think they call it a Mandela effect is because it is quite literally a side effect or a proof of collective consciousness. And so you have those who, and I will say, I don't agree with every Mandela effect. Most of them I remember. Some I'm like, I don't know, I think it was that way. But what I've realized is that those who don't believe in the Mandela effect or who think we're making it up, those are the ones who are, every time there's an upgrade, just like when you charge your phone, you plug it in and the iPhone upgrades overnight while you're sleeping. As collective consciousness, as the program or the matrix delivers upgrades, us chosen few aren't as easily penetrable. We're impenetrable. Therefore, they may change the reality in the 3D physical, but they forget or they're unable to wipe from our minds certain memories, which is why we remember it how it happened in the past. Whereas those who are in the matrix, NPCs, bots, monitoring spirits, whatever name you have for the same entities, they easily and willingly accept the new program. Therefore, they do not remember what came from before. If we are living in a simulation, this is the perfect way. It is the tangible proof that we are collective consciousness, and the ones who are unawakened are programmed to these new realities, whereas us chosen, we remember it how it was. That's our symptom. That's our side effect. They may wipe the books and change the fruit of the loom cornucopia, but we remember what it was. And it's funny because if you were to speak to a psychologist or a therapist, they often would consider these things, they have names for it. They might call it contagious hysteria or SDD, shared delusion disorder. So you're meaning to tell me that millions of people across the globe incorrectly remember history differently, like deaths of people, emblems and symbols. We're all just, and the part that doesn't make sense, because the part that honestly irritates my spirit is that they think we're that idiotic, that we would believe we're having mass hysteria. It'd be one thing if we all didn't remember a new version of history, but for us all to collectively remember the old version, that tells you that this isn't some sort of mass hysteria or shared delusion disorder. This is concrete proof that we're, what they used to say growing up, come on, get with the program. The truth is always hidden in plain sight. Speaking of which, if you have not checked out today's short that I shared, check it out. I took the video of the sunset on my Earth Day on Sunday, 9/29, the day of the second moon, and tell me why for the third or fourth time this year I saw a second sun. The algorithm doesn't really like to push it, so I tried to share some photos in my community post and then put the link so you guys would be inclined to click that. Leave a comment there because it totally tripped me out when I saw the top of the sun set before the bottom of the sun. I'm going to rewind that one more time. I saw the top of the sun set before the bottom of the sun. Check it out. It's in the description of this live. It's right at the top. So click on that, watch it 25 seconds, and then come back to the live. Leave a comment here if you'd like. Let me check in with the chat. Yep, the Berenstein, Sarah. So I'm not the only one. Anyone else wholeheartedly believe Taylor Swift was on American Idol? Wow. I have not heard that one. Um, I distinctly remember her first album because everyone in my school, when she was like 14 and she still did country and she was on the front of the cover with the guitar, I distinctly remember that first album with her crimped hair. I do remember her being a country singer and then she shifted into pop. That's very interesting though, because I could totally see that. Sunny, yes, the Mandela effect about that's written in my notes today, the 50 or the 52 states. So let me know in the chat. That's a great Mandela effect that it just came across my plate recently. Were you taught, especially if you went to public school, were you taught that there were 52 states or 50 states? Because I distinctly remember, and I have a really good memory. I would always ace all of the empty states geography with the capital and every state. And I distinctly remember there being 52 states with Hawaii and Alaska. Did I say that right? Now they're saying, yeah, and now they're saying that there are only 50 states, and that includes Hawaii and Alaska. And what really irks me about that one, irk is my word of the night tonight, is when you Google it, they say, I actually screenshotted it so that I could, once again, playing with your intelligence. Here's what they say when you Google whether or not there are 50 or 52 states, which, first and foremost, if you Google that and Google spits out, it spits out a text that says there were never 52 states. Well, then why is it so wildly searched that you have to debunk it on Google? So let me find this album. Okay, so when you search, are there 52 states in the United States? It says, does the US have 50 or 52 states? The United States has 50 states. And then here's where they double talk like a politician or like a contract, which what they do is they run around in a circle without really answering the question to try and divert you one way so you forget what you even came here to find out. So, what they say is the United States has 50 states. The District of Columbia, between Maryland and Virginia, like, thanks for that, is not a state, but rather the seat of the federal government. The US also has 5 unincorporated territories, such as Puerto Rico and Guam. First off, we don't need a whole breakdown about how DC isn't a state. We all know that. So, playing and insulting your intelligence right there. Then they proceed to say the US also has 5 unincorporated territories, such as Puerto Rico or Guam. So if you Google this or go on YouTube or any other social platform, you'll find many people saying, oh, there were always 50 states, including Hawaii and Alaska. The other 2 were Puerto Rico and Guam. No, you just Googled that because the US also has 5 unincorporated territories. So that would mean we all thought there were 55 states, not 52. It's not just Puerto Rico and Guam, it's the other 3. So they double talk, they run you around, they put you on a merry-go-round to where you get right back off the ride where you started with no new answers. You're just left a little more perplexed and confused than when you first asked the question. What do you all remember? Let me check the chat because I just went off on a bit of a tangent there. Someone named Abstract Voice said, never thought that remembering the past or nostalgia or history is a special power. Yeah, indeed it is. Um, it is in the sense of collective consciousness, and us, for some reason, our memories are not being wiped. So we are maintaining and remembering events that happened as they did in real time. Remember, time is not linear as they teach us, but that's a whole separate live for a whole nother day. And Sarah said, I swear it's always been 52. Same. And so I even went online and almost ordered a whole blank map. I sat there for about an hour trying to go through every state and see if I could rack my brain for what the 2 other states were. I knew it wasn't Hawaii and Alaska, those were included. So I'm like, what were the 2 other states? And that is how I think, and you imagine it, like every time you update your phone, they may fix one issue, but there's always going to be a new bug, right? That has to be worked out. And next thing you know, you need an entire new phone. So what I think they can do is replace and implant a seed or a new memory. But what they fail to do is completely wipe the memory that you remembered 52 states. So they might remove 2 states from the entire map, but they can't remove the number that you had in your head of 52. And maybe they think of all these things before. It's basically like, okay, what all do we have to remove in order for this to take, in order for this simulation or upgrade to work? But they forgot to remove the 52 states from most of our minds, or even if they tried to, because of collective consciousness, that is a symptom or proof of our collective consciousness, of us being chosen seeds who aren't as easily impressionable or impenetrable. Your mind is the start of everything. Your thoughts become things. Remember that. Sarah said it's always been 52. Fruit of the Loom, Oscar Mayer. Yes, Oscar Mayer, Mayer, Meyer. What do y'all remember on that one? The Fruit of the Loom with the Cornucopia. I'm sorry, but that one is just too specific. for them to pretend like it didn't exist. What else? The Britney Spears headset, that was like in my time growing up. I went to the concert, people dressed up as her in that red leather outfit with the black headset. Even the doll, the Barbie of her, had the headset on. And yet now they're saying she never had a headset. It's just shared delusion disorder. Maybe you all watched a concert of Britney Spears because, yeah, in the year 2000, we all had YouTube to watch collectively a concert. If you weren't at the Britney Spears concert, you probably weren't watching it in the year 2000. So how do so many of us remember a black headset on? It was the entire like part of her uniform, who she was speaking to in the music video. Richard Simmons with the headband. I believe he supposedly passed away back in 2014, and now they're saying he passed away again this year. And so the Mandela effect, for those who are unaware, is because so many people remember Nelson Mandela dying in prison in, I believe, 1994. Please correct me on that, because I wasn't old enough at that time to recall that what was going on politically. But then it's much like the Richard Simmons, they're like, no, he actually was a historical figure and then died later in life. And people are like, I swear he already passed away. How do we collectively remember the death of someone if it did not happen in some timeline or reality? If you're here in the chat and you're enjoying this Mandela, don't forget to give it a like. It's a great way to support this channel. Share it with a friend, save it for later. Feel free to share a Mandela that really blew your mind and made you think this is quite possibly a simulation. I'd love to hear. Steve Brogan said, placement of heart and kidneys. I would love a further explanation as to what you mean by that, because I'm all about that. Just like Libra and the tarot is the scales. Libra is also associated with the kidneys, the adrenal, and the sacral chakra energy, which is why if you are to look into disease and ailments that can take place within different zodiac placements, the kidneys are usually one of the problem areas of the Libra. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. Oh, wow. That's a great one, Sunny. I didn't even notice that, but it brings me to another one. And this is another one that messed with my head. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Especially us little girls, we said that a lot growing up. But if you go to the Disney movie now, it says magic mirror on the wall. That is not what it said in the 90s. Stop lying to us. Yes, Jiffy is actually Jif. Oh my goodness. So many of these. I'm looking through the chat. Yes, Sebastios, Fruit of the Loom. That's the one I was just talking about with the cornucopia. A cornucopia is such a very specific thing. Yeah, I opened with Berenstain Bears, which they're saying it's Berenstain, but it's Berenstein. And I had the entire collection. You can look at something for your whole childhood, and then someone tells you it's a letter different. I was the spelling bee queen. You cannot tell me it was Stain and not Stein. You couldn't. And then not to mention where I grew up, there was the Berenstein lawyers. So I remember always associating them with the Bears because they spelled their last name the exact same as the Berenstein Bears. Is Pluto a planet or nah? Stephen, I'm still waiting for your explanation on the placement of the heart and the kidneys. Please do share more. I'm very interested in that. Is Pluto a planet or nah? You know, I don't think they really know what's going on. As above, so below. I cannot answer that question for sure. I don't know. I don't know. Yes, the Monopoly man and the monocle. He had a monocle. I don't think I would have known what a monocle was if it wasn't for Monopoly. The monocle Monopoly, it's mano mano, like mano y mano. It's clearly played on that for a reason, why it removed. And so I guess the question I'm going to pose to all of you is, if you're here, you clearly believe in the Mandela effect, or you've experienced it to some degree, or maybe you're just simply interested in learning more about it. My question is, are they upgrading, as I talked about? Are they reprogramming us, upgrading our program systems, or upgrading the simulation, and therefore it affects us? Or is there some type of scientific explanation as far as the Hadron Collider at CERN opening wormholes and causing unprecedented or unintentional timeline shifts? Are these timeline shifts purposeful, or are they not? That's what I would love to know from all of you. Shazam, so that one is interesting. I definitely remember it taking place. If you do a really deep dive, I believe there is a video where Sinbad does say, "Yeah, I did that movie." Like, I'm pretty sure he admits it in an interview after denying it for years. And I think it's because it tanked so bad, or he just was, I don't know. Um, Check that one out and see if you can find what I'm talking about. I'm trying to think of another one. But I would love to know, do you all think that this is a purposeful event? These Mandela effects, are they upgrading us purposefully, or are they creating these timeline shifts on accident? He did the movie for drugs. Okay. So I did remember him saying that, because for the longest time that really messed me up. I'm like, no, I remember him being in Shazam. That was a real movie. I'm glad you clarified. Thank you, Sunny and Sebastos. So I'm not going to pretend to know 100% whether or not they're creating these wormholes and unintentionally shifting timelines. But what I am positive about is that it is proof, regardless of how it's happening, it is proof of collective consciousness, in that the herd mentality, if you will. But in this case, it's for those who are outside of the box thinkers, for those who question everything, for those who aren't as easily impressionable. I'm going to keep saying that because it's the perfect way to describe it. If you're not as easily impressionable, you do not take on these upgrades or these changes to history as easily as other parts of society. That is, I believe, the proof of our collective consciousness. And now, what that does is it puts so much power in our hands. In one way, it lets us know that unity is everything. It shows you that the reason they're trying to divide us through many mediums, through religion, race, social class, government, through politics. It's all because the one thing they fear the most is our unity. Because if we all come together, there's more of us than there are of them. And if we're all collectively awakening, which they know we are, which I think is why they're trying so hard to distract us at this time. 2024 has been absolutely wild as far as distractions. But I think that they fear our collective awakening because we can rewrite history. We can shift the future. And so if you're here and you tune into my tarot readings, and I always tell you, listen, you're the master builder, much like the Capricorn or the 22 or the 33 in life path. You're the master builder. As a spiritual teacher, I provide you with the tools, but I cannot tell you what to build. It's the same way with this collective consciousness. If we're all coming together and we're all awakening to the same truths, well, we're not going to be drinking the Kool-Aid like we used to. More of us are going to be collectively questioning what's going on. Why doesn't this align with what we were told in the past? And we could go really deep into this, even outside of Mandela effect, but to talk about Tartaria, the mud flood. Was there a great reset around 1400? And that's why whenever you look back at history, we're taught in school like Christopher Columbus and colonization in 1492, but like, what about the rest of history besides the Bible? There must have been some type of great reset. And so the question always is, especially when I speak of end of the world prophecy, and my end of the world dreams, and the Hopi prophecy, this us being in the 11th hour of the fourth world, getting ready to enter into the fifth. Does it mean that a cataclysmic event comes through like a mud flood and wipes everything out or covers up old buildings and structures? Or is it the reset of the mind, of a simulation, starting again from point zero? Or is it a combination of both? Is the resetting of the mind also attached to cataclysmic events of Mother Earth, Mother Gaia purging herself? The butterfly effect changes everything. Yes, agreed. Time travelers changing the future, Looney Tunes or tunes. Yeah, the Toon Squad, those were awesome jerseys, weren't they? The butterfly effect is the perfect example. So if they're messing with a time space continuum or creating wormholes or wrinkles in time, then that very well could affect. I like to think about it all the time. Many of us time travel every day when we go through our phone and look at a feed from the day before, or we look at a photo from our last birthday. That's us present day time traveling, maybe not physically, but your mind goes back to that memory. And so, if this collective consciousness, if the mind creates your reality, I can't tell you all you create your reality and then not believe it, right? So if you're living in the past, you tend to attract things from the past or repeat karmic cycles. If you're looking at old photos, you may then the next day hear from that old friend who was in that photo because you time traveled energetically. So there's that version of time traveling. And then there's the kind where we're getting into some, theoretical 3D object and traveling through time and space. There's also remote viewing, which, if you know, where you can view someone else's space or, another place from the comfort of your home. We could consider that time traveling. And would that, in and of itself, despite you sitting in this chair, despite me sitting in this chair, viewing Minnesota, which is 3 hours, I believe, behind, that's technically time traveling. If I'm there viewing their time, I'm traveling to the future 3 hours ahead. Would that then, my remote viewing, my energy traveling from this space to that one, would that create this time travel experience? Would that create a Mandela effect? Siren going off in the back. I always take that as confirmation from spirit. Project Looking Glass. Yes, I have heard of that. Project Looking Glass. That sounds very familiar. We are Bunny. I haven't seen you in a while. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great evening as well. Thank you all for being in the chat. I appreciate you. If you have a different Mandela that none of us have mentioned, leave it in the chat so we can talk about it. Tonight, normally I have my notes and everything just written out so I can, spew off information because the teacher in me loves that. But tonight I wanted it to be very interactive because we're talking about collective consciousness. So the more we connect with one another, and I don't mean in a fake artificial way of, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm doing good. Yeah, good to see you. How was your, just spewing words that we've heard regurgitated talking points a million times. I mean, connecting in real time in this chat, doing a bit of time traveling since we have someone, if you're still here, Lavi from India. We have people across the US. Are we time traveling now? We're all now collectively, and this is why I want this community to grow so much because it's so much bigger than me, as I say all the time. The more we connect on this frequency of high vibration, not of arguing with each other about who's right or who's wrong, but being open minded enough to allow someone to plant a seed. Because just because someone plants a seed doesn't mean you have to water it, doesn't mean your soil is fertile for their seed. It just means you're open minded enough to know that you don't know everything. And neither do I, which is why I love connecting with you all, which is why I believe that this symptom or side effect of Mandela effect is proof of our power. It's not a scary, fearful, fear-mongering proof of they're erasing our memories and trying to shift our childhood. Instead, I look at it as, hey, they might be trying, but look how many of us remember what really happened. Imagine if all of us collectively came together and wanted to make something happen for the future, world peace, less chaos, less war. We could do that. We have that power. If you're here in the chat and you're here for it, leave a like. Don't forget to like this, share it. Just even if you share it with no one you share, hit the link. It tells the YouTube algorithm that this is important, what we're talking about. It's not just about me getting views. This is the type of content that I would love to see more of, not men and women beefing on the internet, not just superficial things. There's a time and a place for all of it, for hair, for makeup, for nails, for all the fun things. But right now, we're getting real serious towards the end of 2024 as we get ready to go into 2025. Now is the time where we need to be collectively coming together, sharing dreams, sharing downloads, the ones that you feel are for everyone and not just for your personal spiritual journey. Use your own intuition and discernment to know the difference. Oh, with water. Yeah, so there's actually a lot of different ways. So tarot is one way that people can read someone's energy. It's a tool, once again. I can read people's energy, especially in person, without tarot. There's also acromancy, in which you look into fire or flame to read the future or to read the energies. And the same with water. There's so many mediums, especially when you use one of those four earth elements, earth, water, fire, or air, and people can read through that. People can create smoke, burn an incense and be able to capture words in the smoke. So acromancy is one of those. Candle wax. Some people do coffee. If you've ever seen coffee readings where they put the ground coffee and pour a little water and they read the coffee grounds. People do it with leaves, tea leaf readings. People use water. Some people use hot candle wax in water and they read it that way. So there are so many mediums and tools, which is why I encourage you all, my fellow intuitive psychics, clairvoyants, to try out many tools and see what piques your intuition the best. Knowing your natal chart, your birth chart, it's like a map of you and your life's mission. If you've been feeling like lost or not sure what your life's purpose is, but it's gnawing at you, you're ready for it. Burning a little dragon blood. Sarah, I believe you voted for the dragon blood last time, so that's for you, girl. Does the crystal ball work? So I think that, here's the thing. When you think of tarot and fortune telling, many of us grew up thinking of Miss Cleo, get your reading, like that was a terrible Jamaican accent. Please don't judge me. But the point is, they make fun and they debunk and they defame these people who have true gifts. Now, I don't know Miss Cleo, but they always make it seem as though the person is a bit unhinged. If they believe in tarot, if they can see the future, there must be something a little bit off about them, right? Um, Anything, I encourage you to pay attention this week when you're watching TV, when you're scrolling on your phone, anything that you hear made fun of a lot, there's some truth in it. They're trying to deter you away from it. They're trying to deter you from your magic, from your light codes, your DNA activating, which can be why we've been experiencing these headaches. Yes, Sarah, it's a form of a scrying tool. Exactly. And while some people may have prophetic visions, clairvoyance, there's also clairaudience, people who can hear things, clairsentience, people who can taste or smell things. Different entities, especially lower vibration entities, can give off smells. Sometimes you may notice cigarettes or perfume from a passed on loved one, but also there can be a bad smell if there's like a lower vibration or a negative entity or demonic energy in your physical space. Exactly, Sarah. Exactly as I was saying. Tea leaf readings, coffee readings, wax and water, acromancy. And if you get a book of spells, it has the Latin version of what each of those types of spell work or scrying is. Sebastian said, you can smell witchcraft now. What does it smell like? I'm curious for you. And remember, everyone's experience is going to be different with this. We've shifted a bit from the Mandela effect, which is probably why I lost a few people, but that's okay. It's about the collective consciousness. That's the takeaway. The Mandela effect is simply the symptom, like a sneeze or a cough when you have a cold. Mandela effect is the symptom or the proof, if you want to look at it as a positive. It's the proof that we hold the power with our collective consciousness. Yes, reading clouds is a great one. I love that you said that. My mom was actually on the phone with me today talking about how they saw words in clouds and how my aunt was using a piece of sage, and when she took a photo, it said I'm here in her home. And she'd never shared that with me before, so that was very interesting. Sulfur smell. Yes, definitely a low vibrational smell. Sulfur is always the one where you're just like, "Ooh, I don't like that." Um, so before I forget, tomorrow, specifically for my loyal patrons, if you haven't joined the Patreon, join the Patreon. I'm doing a special live tomorrow, strictly for my patrons over on Patreon. We're going to be doing a money guided meditation and a little bit of moon magic because the new moon is today in Libra. We also had the annular solar eclipse today. And so the 3 days leading up and the 3 days following any new moon or full moon are great manifestation times. So we're going to do a guided money meditation. I'm going to play the singing bowl. Then we're going to do a bit of money magic, an actual ritual that I don't really feel comfortable sharing here on YouTube. So it's going to be on the Patreon. And there's a few tools you'll need to bring with you. If you want to just partake in the meditation and not the ritual, that's totally fine. But it's listed all over on my Patreon. The link's already up. 6 p.m. tomorrow on October 3rd. Guided money meditation and moon magic ritual we're going to be doing. And it's nothing low vibrational. And so if you're there during the live, I will actually pull you a personal tarot card to reveal or illuminate any financial blockage that may be blocking your finances at this time. We don't talk a whole lot about money on this channel, and money sometimes makes people funny, but we need it, right? In this 3D matrix, it's needed. We all have bills and things. So we're going to focus on that over on the Patreon. It's very affordable to join, just $8 a month. If that's your cup of tea, not to mention I already have over 35 posts there, extended tarot readings, exclusive tarot readings you won't see here, and you get a little more behind the scenes and things in my life that I'm sharing over there that I don't share here. If you can't catch it live, it will still be there for you to view. I just won't be able to pull you your one tarot card. So just a heads up. Yes, Sarah, I'm excited about that. I really love doing meditations. I love guided meditations, and I think they're very powerful, especially when you're feeling stagnant or we're entering through these portals. We just had a partial lunar eclipse, now a solar eclipse, a new moon, so many things taking place. This is harvest season. October is the month of harvest. So now would be the time if you're looking to reap what you've sown, a little focus on money, and it's all positive. We're not invoking any negative spirits or anything. It's all light magic, okay? And yeah, set your vibration, and I have the tools listed on my Patreon that I want you to bring with you to it. But for the most part, just show up and enjoy yourself. Enjoy the experience of meditating and being guided by my voice, okay? My meditation voice, my teacher voice is different and much more soothing and calming than my passionate, I'm excited about what I'm talking about voice. Sebastian says, too bad I don't have any weed plants to harvest this year. Yeah, okay. That's one way of looking at it. Physical harvest of your actual plants, the things you've planted, or it can just be the time, the energy you've expended on people, places, and things being paid for your gifts. That is a common. I know when I talk about money, I always lose a couple people, but I'm going to talk about it because it's my channel. But money can make people feel very funny, especially women. We're often placed in gender roles where much is expected of us for free. And that is one lesson that I have let me be a lesson for anyone out there who's a people pleaser. I have in business given away so much of myself without charging what I was worth. And so now I'm in my unapologetic phase. Even $8 is not expensive, but I acknowledge life is expensive right now. So if you don't have it, you don't have it. There's never any pressure to break bread with me in that way. As I say, your energy and your attention is a currency. However, other parts of me that I don't want to be for everyone, I have and reserve that right to charge an access fee. And in the past, I failed to do that. And then when I tried to charge what I was worth, then people were like, well, where's the discount? Where's the other price? I'm getting all this for free. I want to keep getting it for free. And then they get upset. And so now I've learned if there's other parts of you, if you're good at something, it's okay to charge for it. We're not taking advantage. We're not charging $1,000 to remove parasitic entities from your body. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm simply creating a safe community for us chosen ones to communicate with one another candidly, without judgment and without the trolls from YouTube on public. Not that any of you in this chat are trolls, but if you ever look under shorts and things like that, they come out of the woodwork when you get to talking about spirituality and galactic frequencies. They call you scammers and things like that. So creating that access point, that access fee, it gets rid of a lot of those people who would troll you, and it creates a safe space for us chosen tribe to share those things without fear of judgment, without fear of being trolled, because most people aren't going to pay $8 just to troll you. Just the truth. Sebastios, you got a reading? Okay, I'm feeling a little bit hurt, but it's okay. I'm just kidding. Always use your own intuition. You know who's for you, who's meant to give you a reading. And that's why I always, even when I give personal readings, I let people know your intuition trumps mine. Filter everything that's coming out of my mouth, filter it with your own intuition, because no one knows you better than you. No one ever can. And that's how you can always tell about a true scammer. Not because they charge money for something, but the amount and for what you're receiving in return. Like they say, give a man a fish he can eat for a night, but teach a man to fish. And so is when you're breaking bread with these spiritual teachers, are they teaching you and providing you with tools, or are they telling you that the answers don't exist within you and they're the only one who can give you the answer and provide the solution? I never want the people who view me to feel that way. I want to feel like I'm giving you the tools, but you have free will. Your intuition will always trump mine. I don't possess anything you don't have. The second time today you heard the fish proverb. I love that because fish are all about abundance. That's about that harvest coming in, like with that full sturgeon moon we had last month or August. I might be swapping the two. Hi again, Lavi. Happy you're still here. Yes, Sarah. I bring it up a lot, but us women, we really struggle with that in sales and charging what we're worth. And what I always have to say, what I had to realize, because I've been an entrepreneur for some time now, people have it. It's whether or not they value you enough to spend it with you, because they're going to buy something probably in that same day that they told you they're not going to. And that's not to say at times people don't really have it. I'm not saying that people are lying. I'm just saying people pay for what they value. And so know how much of yourself to give for free and know when to set that boundary. Because as I said in my most popular video today, the only people who are going to be mad when you set better boundaries are those who used to benefit from your lack thereof. Those are the only people who are going to be upset that you're charging an access fee. Yep, in that voice. In that voice. So this has shifted. I knew tonight was going to be more impromptu, more interactive. You know, we can only talk, many of you I can tell have already gone down the Mandela rabbit hole. And my intention tonight wasn't to argue or go back and forth about Mandelas. I just wanted to see we're all on the same frequency. I wanted to plant that seed of collective consciousness among my chosen tribe, because it puts the power in our hands, not that things are being done to us, but that we're the ones who are impenetrable. And that is why we remember two versions, or the oldest version, because that upgrade didn't take within us. essence sticks. I'm curious. You know what? I'm gonna have to Google I don't know if that's just another name for like let me look it up. Okay. So okay, yeah. So like incense, like what I'm burning now. So let's do a quick little rundown of since I have you all here. I'm gonna close this live out in a couple minutes, right at the hour mark. So let's go through a couple of the things that I use and for different reasons. So essence sticks, as you call them, or incense, especially this one, dragon's blood. It's great for protection. Incense, for me personally, I use them just much like lighting candles. I use them to call in the benevolent ancestors. I use them as an offering to call in higher spirits. Now, for protection, that is when I would use my white sage. If I feel like there's negative energy, maybe I've been in a bad mood for a few days, white sage is going to be one that you can use to cleanse or smudge your space. And same with the Palo Santo. That can be great for calling upon that benevolent energy. And no, we're not just calling in random energies, your benevolent ancestors, your higher self. Okay. It's not anything outside of you, truly. The Palo Santo for that. And then for protection, especially when I'm doing tarot and reading other people's energy, the bay leaves. You can drink them, not the leaves themselves, but you can boil them, steep them, and drink them. I also burn them as an insect repellent and for protection when I'm doing tarot readings. So I would say to your question, ah, oh no, I actually like that you called it an essence stick. I like hearing new ways of talking about the same thing because some people call them these sage sticks, smudge sticks, smudging or saging. I definitely think it can remove negative energy because when you're calling in positive energy, it can cancel out the negative. As far as when you're trying to remove energies from your space, yes, Sebastos, definitely opening the windows so that whatever is in here, if you've seen the jokes on social media, you don't want the ghosts in here just running around yelling, screaming, but they can't get out of the window. Another great one, and I talked about it on my magic, using your magic as protection for monitoring spirits. I encourage people to put a line of salt and cinnamon at your front door. Now, that's not only for people who enter over the threshold spiritually and energetically into your home, because salt is known for absorbing many things, which is why too much of it can absorb your nutrients. But in the spiritual world, it's great for absorbing and absolving negative energies. It can also reset your energy when you come home from work or out with friends. You step over that salt and you leave whatever you had out there outside. It doesn't come in with you. If you haven't checked out my paranormal live about a month ago, where we talked about the difference between disembodied souls, um, your disembodied souls, and then your just everyday hauntings, the more benevolent hauntings, if you will, that would be a great one to check out. Let me see if I can find the name of it now. Let's see. Yes, lost souls versus disembodied souls. That'd be a great one to watch. And it goes hand in hand with those negative energies, the salt, the cinnamon, so many different ways in which you can protect yourself. So, that being said, I think, I actually really enjoyed just this interacting back and forth with all of you. I'm trying to keep that schedule where Saturdays we do tarot, Wednesdays we have a topic and we talk about it. Some days I'm going to have my professor glasses on and I'm just going to be in my notes, checking the chat whenever I can. And other Wednesdays I'm going to try to keep it interactive where we can all come in as a collective consciousness together and talk about what's going on in this wild, wild world. Um, Hold on. I keep losing the chat, so let me make sure I can see all of you before I close this out. Yes, Sarah, thank you for answering that. Outside, right outside the door, line the entire area where anyone's going to step over. Some people even like to do that in their windowsills. That and cinnamon is a great one as an ant deterrent in those hot months when ants try to come through the windows or flies, whatever that may be. I really hope to see you all tomorrow night. I'm not going to be here on YouTube, but I'm going to be on the Patreon. Link is in the pinned comment. Link is also in the description. We're going to be doing that guided money meditation, a little bit of sound healing, and a bit of moon magic. So if you're interested in things like I'm talking about with the cinnamon and the salt, I did share all of that, Sebastios, in a live you were in about 2 weeks ago. So go back and check out that live. It has a bunch of things about protective magic that you can use. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a little bit of spell work. So join the Patreon. I hope to see you there. And if you haven't checked out that double sunset from Sunday, once again, check the description, click that short, check it out. Let me know what you think, what you see with your two eyes. Awesome. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope, Sarah, that your daughter, her headache goes away. Mine is definitely still here and thriving. So I'm going to go turn it in. Thank you all for being here. Until next time, you know the drill. I'm sending you so much love, peace, and elevation in consciousness. Until next time, namaste and ase.